Before we open up for questions and comments, I'm going to start handing around the evaluation forms so that you can fill it out at the end and hand them out. How many people filled out a little slip of paper because you want a door prize? What I'm going to do is send around the door. Oh, Haji's got the hat. Haji's hat will go around. And I'll just say one thing is that we did not intend this session. We don't want this to be a downer. We wanted to share some hard truths, because confronting hard truths is the first step towards sort of taking control of our own collective destiny. So I hope that in the discussion that follows, we can sort of stay focused on what we do with this knowledge, as opposed to just feeling let down by it. But Haji, you let your hand.
I have a great friend in Thailand, in Cambodia actually. She helps people who are victims of landmines. And I met her in a conference and I asked her, why are you involved in the ban landmine movement? And she said, I woke up 22 years every morning. And when I worked with victims of landmines, I checked them, I made sure that the prosthesis was okay and if it's working well and they can walk. And if they didn't, then I would get the necessary things, and I did the same thing for 20 years. After 20 years, I woke up and I figured that the only way I can fight this situation is to try to ban landmines altogether. So I think one of the things that we need to do is make sure we don't leave this meeting with a sense that there is nothing we can do. One of the things that we do need to leave from here is to identify policies, ways through which we can become vocal. And make sure, and I want to connect this to the earlier session, student-centeredness means that we give the sense to our students that they are worth the education. The worst thing we can do is for them to say, here's a commodity, take it and go. What we need to do is make sure every student understands that they are entitled to a good education, and that's what we try to give them. And I think if we keep that focus, we will succeed at the institution for years to come. And if we don't fight that battle, we are going to lose it. And I do agree with you, we are going to lose it.
Ellen.
I think that for a lot of the new faculty, this wasn't our only choice to come here. And I know I came here, it was between this and a really expensive private school. And I just knew I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if I went to some place that, was charging more in tuition than I made in a year. And so I think that we have this really unique place. And I don't know if there are, like everybody said, a lot of places like that in the country. And I think, we have America's team, right? We have the Packers, so why can't we be like America's college, No, I'm serious, and I think that there are pockets in this country, not just in this state, that would open their wallets to places like us. I mean, look at Berea College. They don't charge tuition, and they have a giant endowment. Look at Vitana, that place where you can, like, Evil and $25 to a foreign student can go to college. I mean, I think that if more people across the country, not just across Wisconsin, knew about us, that people, would just have no choice but to give us money because we're just. But I mean that very seriously. That I think that we could have something special and something nationwide somehow.
Yeah, Greg.
So this idea of that Ben talked about of college education as a transaction. Many of us in this room have been involved in conversations about the extent what we offer a true education versus the idea of vocational training. You like you would train to be a mason or an electrician or something like that. And you hear a lot of students come in. I've heard a lot of students come in and want to know, well, what kind of job is it going to give me when I get out? And there's always this tension between vocation and a complete education. And some of our public officials, even the ones who are supportive of higher education, think of higher education as a jobs factory, purely. I mean, in terms of, well, it gets us these workers that get these jobs and they produce and so forth, rather than thinking in terms of educating the students that go here. And my opinion is from observing students over the years is that there are I want every student that has the capacity and the drive and the inclination to go to college, they should have that opportunity regardless of income and background. However, I think that there are people that probably it's not the best choice for them. You know, my wife's cousin is a Mason, and I don't think of any less of him because he went into the trades instead of going to college. So my question is, do we in the university community, are we making a mistake if we over-promote the idea of the universality of college being for everyone?
I want to speak that because I want to, at least for me, I want to make it very clear where I'm coming from and not be misunderstood. I actually had a discussion with this friend of mine who teaches high school, this very issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the case we should be making is that a college education for every young person is the solution to our problems. I agree with it, absolutely what you said. For those who have the drive and the initiative and the desire, a college education should be available to all such people, because denying it to anyone is denying the rest of us the future value they can contribute to our community, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, we need people in a variety of fields, we need people in a variety of trades. But I think part of what's going on, for me at least, is that, and if we wanted to talk about the broader, you know, the broader consequences of market fundamentalism, the other aspect of this in the labor market is to say that no matter what you do for a living, you are only worth what the market will bear. And it's hostile to the idea that you know, there used to be this quaint idea called an honest day's pay for an honest day's work, right? And you used to have a public policy that said that all work is valuable. And if the market values your work at a level that you cannot lead a decent life, then the public will intervene to make sure that your work is valued at what it is worth, even if it's not valued by the market that way. And one of the consequences of this idea is that increasingly certain kinds of labor are devalued, because the only value placed on them is the market value. If the market places a value, this work is only worth a poverty wage, then it only gets paid a poverty wage. And as a result, people are then told, if you don't want a poverty wage, it's your responsibility to purchase a college education and finance it the way you buy a house. So to me, it's flip sides of the same problem. If we had, you know, if people were able to earn a decent living, regardless of the kind of labor they did, those who were not inclined to pursue a college education would not feel the pressure to do so. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the other part of the bargain should be that for those who are inclined to do so, it should be available regardless of your background. So to me, it's two sides of the same problem. We devalue certain kinds of labor to create pressure for people to go to college and then tell them the only way you can go to college is to mortgage the rest of your life.